Hello.
So today I have a few questions for you, and if you would feel comfortable, you answer that for me.
Okay.
How long have you been working at Cafe Arpan?
It is up to 4 years.
And do you like working here?
Yes.
What do you like working?
I like working here in Cafe Arpan. The most thing I like in Cafe Arpan working is that I'm a working man. Means a service person.
आपको अगर पसंद है?
काफ़ी पसंद है,
बहुत पसंद है।
बहुत पसंद है।
Achismita, hi.
Hi Auntie.
So this is my cousin Aarti. She's my pride and joy.
Yes.
So Aarti lived in the US for many years, and she and I born few days apart. And Aarti, what's our favorite thing to do? I'm curious to know what you're gonna say.
Music.
That's how we do it. Okay. So Aarti and I, of course, grew up together. Music is the thing that bonds us. And Aarti loves to sing. She's a better singer than me for sure.
What's your favorite song?
Both Indian, English and Hindustani.
So you feel like singing a few bars of some songs for them? Pricey. Ask them for money. Ask them to pay. Say I don't sing for free.
I don't sing for free.
Few lines. Any song you want. Please. So you got a friend?
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the rose looks from my head and your mouth from your nice warm bed. Just remember what your picture said. Girl, you got a friend in me.
Yeah, you.
You got a friend in me.
Yeah, you.
You got a friend in me.
Able does not mean enabled, and disabled does not mean less able. Wise words by Sanjiro Nyogen. Disability has always been a matter of perception. Being disabled is considered a tragedy. But don't you think us treating them that way, their disability, is more of a tragedy? There is no greater disability in society than the inability to see a person as more, by Robert Hansel. Acceptance plays a huge role in making someone feel respected and valued, most importantly, empowered. So let's take a look at what our government has done for people in our society. The government of India has started to use the term Divyang, which means divine ability in Sanskrit, to refer to people with disabilities. This was done to change people's perspectives towards the specially abled. Various schemes for people with disabilities. Some of them are Prerna, Vikas, Nirmaya and Disha, who provide affordable insurance schemes and daycare schemes and many more, which help them to create a better future.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
I'm good.
Wow, doesn't it feel nice to be acknowledged by a community when they ask you how you are, how you feel, when you feel comfortable around them? Similarly, it is our vital duty to allow others to find comfort, show affection and serve every individual with or without special needs. Moreover, a positive approach within the community can cause a productive butterfly effect that will therefore engrave positive virtues for the coming generations. Let's understand how the community is playing a vital role in the lives of specially abled individuals. Enable India is an organization that believes in celebrating the human spirit. For singles with mental or with physical disabilities, sometimes it's hard to find, your special someone. Therefore, Special Bridge tackles this issue, which helps them find a future for themselves. Disabled United, Able Here and Disabilities Are Us are some online forums that provide a sense of belonging through various activities. So, here are some tips which might help you familiarize with how to behave with people with disabilities. Number 1. Don't assume anything about the person or their disability. Number 2. Don't think that disability is a tragedy. Number 3. Talk to a person with disability as you would to anyone else, with respect and with equality. Number 4. You can Google or be educated about their disabilities before pointing your fingers to them. You should be as sweet to them as this Nariyal Pani is to me. Would love to visit the Taj Mahal, no? Or Leaning Tower of Pisa. I mean, you must have your bucket list ready. Similarly, traveling has always been about following your heart and sharing memories, creating memories, and having loads of fun. But some people miss these opportunities because their bodies prevent them to do so. Don't you think it's kind of unfair? Hence, with technological advancements, we can get them to enjoy these moments with us. There are a few barriers to travel which we can tackle together, like public transport and its ease, poor infrastructural designs, orientation and wayfinding. So let's work together and find a way. See the person, not the disability, because disability is a special ability that a person possesses. We need to understand how strong the ties between disabled workers and labour movement allow for greater control over the nature of mainstream work. Let's see some of the day-to-day businesses that have implied inclusivity. Cafe Coffee Day. Hiring the speech impaired or differently abled is a part of Cafe Coffee Day's hiring policy. The speech impaired, differently abled have been hired by the company to brew coffee behind the counters, and they have many much to offer. Plus, there are technological advancements such as assistive cars. Anand Kutre, a 41-year-old entrepreneur from Bangalore, is on a mission to make cars accessible for persons with disabilities. He has designed and built a machine that can be easily installed under a car's driving seat. By using an easily installable swivel seat mechanism, he makes traveling accessible to all. Thus, this is a step forward.
With all that we have learned through this video, let's move on to meeting some real-life heroes who have not only managed to help disabled people but have implemented some heartful changes everyone should be aware of. Let's meet one of the trustees at Yash Charitable Trust, running our beloved Cafe Arpan, and their beautiful staff. Let's hear what they have to say.
3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Aawaz, speaking the unspoken. I Rotractor Achismita Choudharry from the Rotra Club of Atlas Kiltech University, and here with Ashaita, Miss Ashaita, from the trustee of Yash Charitable Trust and the co-founder of Cafe Arpan. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Ashaita Mahajan. I'm a trustee of Yash Charitable Trust. Ours is an NGO started by my aunt, Dr. Sushma Nagarkar. We have been around since 2015 and we work with adults with developmental and or intellectual disabilities, which includes autism, Down syndrome and other intellectual disabilities. Back in 2018 is when Cafe Arpan was born. It is one of our supported employment initiatives. It is a place where it is a supported employment space where people with these disabilities can come, learn on the job, train on the job, and then continue if they choose to.
So as we go forward, I would like to ask you, why, so out of all the names I've heard, why did you choose to name it Cafe Arpan?
Okay, so Arpan actually in Hindi means offering. When Yash Charitable Trust was first formed, our first supported employment initiative at the time was Arpan Food Services, or actually what we used to call it as Arpan Dabba Service. So when we first started, our whole vision and mission revolved around having persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities, or PWIDD for short, having the PWIDD be a part of an inclusive work environment which is supportive, which is, they're learning something, and it's also meaningfully engaging. It's not like a sheltered workshop where people come, sit, make seasonal gifts like diyas and agarbattis. These guys are all, put to the task. We figure out what their baseline is when they come in. We figure out what they like to do. And most importantly, everyone working at Cafe Arpan as well as Arpan Food Services is working here out of their choice. So when I say Arpan, sorry, I know this was your question. When I say Arpan, Arpan means offering, and so Cafe Arpan, Arpan Food Services, these are our offerings back to our community in a way of making our community more inclusive.
So I've noticed when we came here, it was actually very new to me that all of the cafe members were speaking in English. So is that something which they trained from before, or is that something they came here with?
That is a question I have never been asked in the last 4.5 years. So I really appreciate being asked something completely different. No, we do not specify what language they must communicate in. When anyone joins Yash Charitable Trust, and I'm using the NGO's name because they first joined YCT and then we kind of place them within our sort of our projects. These are our life projects that it's our demonstration to the public saying this is what these guys are capable of doing if they're giving them the right opportunity. So when they join us, we have two very simple criteria. One is that they have a disability certificate which is issued by the government of India, and secondly they need to be able to use the toilet by themselves. Those are the only two criteria we have. Yeah. So when they came to us initially, we were not fixed on whether they can communicate verbally. We were okay with non-verbal communication as well. And then it comes to, when it came to the training of when we were setting up Cafe Arpan, we simulated a couple of scenes where, say, a customer comes in. What is the first thing you want to say to them? So when you were greeted by Aarti downstairs, she said, "Welcome to Cafe Arpan," right? That's just a line that they came up with when we were doing the training. But if you look at like one of my other team members, Nandini would always say, "Welcome to Arpan Cafe," which is what you guys actually called us. And I tried really hard. I was like, "Nandini, say Cafe Arpan, no?" No, she said Arpan Cafe. Eventually I realized, what am I doing? I want her to be herself, right? And I said, it's communicating the same thing. That's just the way she says it. As long as it's getting across to the other people, the other person is understanding. Why am I trying to make it seem like I want her to say only what I want her to say? The idea is to get them to feel empowered enough to say, of course it has to be the right thing, but they can say it in their own way as long as the other person understands. And like I mentioned before, every single person working at Cafe Arpan or Arpan Food Services is working here out of their own choice. They want to work here, and so they feel a great sense of pride. They feel a great sense of being empowered when people come up to them and take, Nikhil can, give you the order, Pratik will serve you, Aarti will greet you, Aaron will make a kick-ass dish, whatever you order, Anand will make you a kick-ass beverage, whatever based on what you order. I love that the customers come here and want to like meet the team, want to have, okay, Anand, mujhe aaj cold coffee chahiye, ek mast cold coffee bana do, right? We've got people who come and do that, and that's really rewarding for us also after all these years.
This is nice. It's like going to the chai wala.
Yeah.
But in a very, very much
In a
nice
little
way.
sophisticated with AC.
Yeah. But no, your ambience is pretty nice. I mean, very vital. Okay, we come from college, and this is the cafe we're looking for. And a lot of the work we saw was handicrafted. Like I think the wall was painted. Being a design student, we can figure it out.
Yeah.
So that wall was painted, and was that Cafe Arpan was written also. I think it's made.
Yes.
So
we've actually made the wooden sign that you saw downstairs with the nails and the thread. So a friend of mine actually had this in her home, like not Cafe Arpan, but like a Batman or something. And I said, why don't you come and make one for us with the team? So she brought the wood, she brought the nails, we all sat together as a group and did it. And if you look at the F, there are thumbprints on it. Everybody who worked on that is our thumbprints. And one more thing about that sign, you may have noticed that it's crooked, it's not all in a straight line. Again, because it's our way of showing that people can be a little different. At the end of the day, you can read the word Cafe Arpan. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter that it's not, in a perfectly straight line. It's a little crooked, but so what? You still understand. You're still able to process what is being put in front of you. So it's another way of describing, the Cafe Arpan team, I guess. We're all different and unique in our own special way, and we want to be appreciated and loved for who we are, rather than having to conform to, like you said, to a set pattern or set, yeah.
That is what we're looking for in the new world. With all of this in mind, did you have any special training given to them? Or like how you said that while they are working, you will always come and correct them? So,
yeah. So when we started, actually we worked backwards. So when we started, we did training on the job, first at the Dabba kitchen, then at Cafe Arpan in Juhu. And then we realized we needed a training center. So we went, it was really going in reverse in a way. And when we started the training center, we put a curriculum in place. That curriculum is our IP. So now we have a set process of how we take on individuals. They first come, they come and do we put them into a training program. But before that, we have an interview process, and that interview process actually lasts for about 2 weeks to a month, because we want them to come in when there are other trainees in the space working. We observe them, then we speak to them directly. We don't necessarily, we of course speak to the families and everyone as well, but we speak to the individual. We try and determine what does that person want to do. Are they even interested in food? Are they interested in something else? We had one person join us who's very interested in computers and doing accounting. So now he has joined our admin team. So we have people who are working across our organization in different roles as well. So the training element is on the job. It's a continuous process that we continue with almost all our team members. Some team members require additional support, some don't. Some require extra supervision, some don't. All of our individuals are very unique in their own sweet way, and we really want them to own that. So Yash Charitable Trust as an NGO is a registered trust in Bombay, in India. We do have all our certification that enables us to get tax exemption, but when it comes to this category of disability, when it comes to any kind of CSR funding, we struggle on that front purely because India being such a vast country with so many other issues and issues that people can clearly understand, like lack of education, poverty, urban development, women's rights. These are very, I hope it's okay for me to say they're very black and white. People understand what it is. But if I tell somebody, I speak about autism, or if I say intellectual disability, not everybody is aware of what these are. So I think we have such a long way to go, that a part of Yash Charitable Trust's work also includes doing a lot of advocacy. So we go out into the community, we have seminars, we do workshops, we do sensitization training, all kinds of other activities to just illuminate people's minds.
Regarding this, actually I was wondering, so when I actually entered, I was surprised by Aarti. So I went back, I got outside, and then I searched up how to talk to people with autism, because I
Really?
because I wanted to be...
You're giving me all kinds of new things. I'm really liking this interview. Okay, go ahead.
So I actually searched it up because I wanted to communicate properly with her. I didn't want her to feel disrespected or bad.
Yeah.
And then I came inside, and on Google it was written that you're supposed to speak with them like you speak to normal adults.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think everyone would do this. So there might be some customers who might disrespect them or say something wrong. What happens to the employees? Like, what do they feel? If they feel bad, do they come and tell you, or do they actually not work? Because it's difficult to get through that.
So I can answer for when I'm here. The days that I'm here, so I think that human beings in general can be nice or not nice, right? You can be respectful or disrespectful. I understand your question, but I think that all of us face people and come across people who will be disrespectful, whether they notice it or not. With my team, what I end up doing, and I don't know if this is the right thing, but I kind of treat this as, this is my space, our space, we're the bosses, we're the kings of our castle, and so we can teach people when they come in. There has been maybe 1 or 2 incidents where the customer has been rude and we've asked them to leave, but most often when we've had customers who, like you, I'm glad you said you went out and did the Google thing, because another customer who came in, she actually told me when I asked her, she's like, I got scared. And I called Aarti and I called whoever else was on staff, and I told her, I was like, guys, she's scared of you. And they all started laughing. And it was such a great icebreaker, because she started laughing, everyone started laughing. And because we realized that these are all these boundaries and these walls that we build up in our minds, right? They're not real. So Aarti is my first cousin, she's my sister, and I grew up with Aarti. We were born a few days apart. So for me, meeting a person with a disability is as normal as meeting anybody else. And I don't use the word normal because it immediately differentiates all of us. I think all of us are individual in our own ways, right? We all have our different quirks, our good things and bad things, and good habits and bad habits, and all of these things, right? They all make us who we are. So with customers who are open to being taught or open to being just educated, if I can call it that, they're very, very, they're cool. I just say, talk to them like you would to anyone else. With autism, maybe I can give you a little more specific, saying, and I'm still learning this. I, in fact, made a mistake. This just not a mistake. I did not communicate as efficiently as I could have. with people with autism, it's very good to be as specific as possible. So even when you you do your interviews with them later, be very specific, ask direct questions so that they know exactly where their answers could go. Any open-ended questions are avoidable, but simply put, when Aarti comes in and says, "Welcome to Cafe Arpan," all you have to say is, "Hi, good to be here," or "Thank you for having me," or anything that comes naturally to you. You have to be as natural as you would with anyone else. There's nothing to be scared about.
I think overall it's a very, very inclusive cafe. And apart from this also, personally, do you believe that once they are trained and maybe touch wood, nothing like this happens, if something does go wrong, they will find their sense of comfortable in the society, like they will be able to fight for themselves ahead if things don't work out? Like after all this training, like
When you say things don't work out, what are you referring to?
If they have to, I don't know, I just have this feeling that if they go out alone in this society with their experience in the cafe, their confidence growing, them working with the customers, do you think they will be able to stand for themselves and be there for themselves after this?
So that is so the question is a little open-ended, so I'm going to answer it in two parts. First of all, we have had people who have worked at Cafe Arpan as well as Arpan Food Services who we have successfully placed in a commercial kitchen, in a commercial establishment, and both of them are very, very happy and doing really, really well. They've made new friends, their colleagues are great. Alternatively, we placed one other person in another restaurant. He was all alone over there, but it was convenient because it was close to home. He came back to us because that experience was not very good for him. So I think that, you know, it's not possible for us to say it's going to go all great and all bad. Sorry, it's not going to be all great and all bad, but I think we just deal with it as it comes. When it has happened, where things have not gone right, we learn from mistakes, we figure out, we find solutions. You know, we're solution-oriented, a solution-oriented organization. We don't believe in just, you know, looking at the problem and just crying about it. I think, again, with everything, there's a long way to go because there is a lot of people out there that need to be sensitized, made aware. But we'll get there eventually. Yash Charitable Trust is still a very small organization. As a trustee, I still deal with a lot of day-to-day things. So it's going to take time, but where there's a will, there's a way. So hopefully.
I think bottom line is, I think the world will be a better place if everyone just learns to accept that different is normal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Different is not different is normal. I would say different is unique. Different is what we need. If everyone was the same, can you imagine how boring the world would be? I mean, everyone who works in our team, and you'll meet and interact with all of them, they've all got their individual personalities, you know, they've all got their different, like they come up with the funniest things sometimes to say, you know, you can't help but laugh. And we want people with and without disabilities. So with Cafe Arpan, with the other employment services that we run, the employment initiatives that we run, we have people with and without disabilities working side by side. That is what makes us inclusive. We went a step further and we put a rainbow flag, a progressive rainbow flag outside our cafe because we wanted to be even more inclusive. And so we have so many people from the LGBTQI community come in and they feel so warm and welcome here. One of them came and gave me a hug and said, "I've never felt welcome in any other cafe till now." It's just that the fact that we are providing this space in a city like Mumbai, which is hustle bustle, people come in here, couples come in here, it's so cute seeing them and just sitting, and then they interact with the team and they want to take photos, and it's just such a happy space. And the way I see it is that Cafe Arpan is just one small pocket of pure joy in this city. Imagine how many more, I mean, imagine if we had more and people gave us lots of money to do that. We could just spread that kind of joy in the city. Like you walked in here, you felt happy. You all walked in here, of course, not the initial thing when you got scared and went back out, but my point is that I think everybody who comes to Cafe Arpan not just leaves with a full stomach, but a full heart, you know, and I think that we can't ask for anything more.
Thank you so much. I think.
Are we good?
Yes, that was amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.